on this episode of Kush and Konvo, the incredibly talented musical mastermind behind some of hip-hop's biggest hits, the self-proclaimed facilitator DJ Folk, in the building. Tune in as we discuss his journey throughout the industry, his views on the industry and its current state, and of course, in true Karman Kush fashion, we're going to tap into his personal life. Hey, folk!
What's good? What's good?
I'm so glad you're here.
I know it's been a long time coming.
It has.
Yeah.
I've known you for quite some time. We met in college.
It don't feel like a long time. I'm not finna reveal my age.
We're not gonna do that because then I got to reveal mine. So we will keep it light. But I met you some years back in college, and doing what we're going to discuss. You were selling mixtapes and things like that. That's how I met you. But yeah, who is DJ Folk? For those who don't know, and if you don't, you're fucking crazy. But for those who don't, who are you?
Man, I'm just a kid from a little town in Northwest Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just me, you know, facilitator. All that shit came later, you know. I've dabbled in everything, so to speak. Music was just always my journey. My dad was a DJ, so, you know, I was just born into it, so to speak.
Okay. And so, let's talk about the beginning of your journey. 18, you get a DJ kit from outside the back of the advertisements in the Source magazine.
Right.
I guess you're happy to say at this point in your career, you're glad you bought that kit, huh?
Oh yeah, almost definitely. Like it was so crazy because I told my other grandmother in North Carolina, I was just like, y'all realize that y'all started on this journey that I ended up on. And my dad, he really wasn't a big fan of me being in the music industry, but you know, he was a DJ, so he bought me the turntables, just like whatever you want for Christmas, here it is. But here we are, you know, X amount of years later, I'm not gonna reveal my age again. That, you know what I'm saying? That shit really paid off to where I wanted to be.
That's good. So I guess that in the beginning, from making the mixtapes, like I said, you started on campus at A&T and selling them around, you know, different schools and stuff like that. Did you think then, was it just for like extra money? Like, did you just think like, let me try it out, see what I was going to do? Or did you really feel like this is what I want my career to be?
I mean, at the time, in the moment, I was just trying to get money. You know what I'm saying? Like, but shit, when motherfuckers start, because, you know, I had everybody's mixtapes, and then I started putting out my shit, and I started seeing how people kind of gravitated to my shit because they felt like
you was that nigga on campus.
Yeah, so niggas started connecting it. Like, I know this nigga, I'm watching this nigga come up. So, you know what I'm saying? It just, like, I had to sit back and be like, yo, I need to really just, like, this goes along with my real goals, music-wise. I need to fucking figure it out. So, you know, by the time I got to probably the end of the first year of me doing it, I'm like, all right, I got to go. And, you know, I ended up, you know, accomplishing it here all these years later. Okay.
I'm telling you guys, when I first met Folk on campus, like, he had that shit on lock. Like, he introduced the world to a lot of the music and the artists that we know today and that we wouldn't have probably listened to had he not funneled that music to us. So shout out to all the mixtape DJs and the ones that's out there grinding, trying to get that hustle started. You really helped push and influence a lot of things that happen in the music industry. So in an interview that I read, you said that your father was a DJ in college as well.
Yeah.
Do you think that was part of the reason why you chose that profession? Do you think even if he hadn't been, that this would be the route you take?
Well, my dad was a big ass music, like he has like the vinyl records, you know, some people, you know, in this era people don't, but it's still, vinyl is actually up 30-40%, that's a whole nother story. But you know, he had this big ass music collection, so, you know, it just felt like I was always destined to do something in music because of that foundation, so to speak. He doesn't look at it like that now, you know, he probably didn't look at it then like that, but now he probably looks at it like, oh, I did set the seeds for him to grow into the music industry, so, you know, that's where it comes from. But he was a DJ, you know, you know, like, just really made, like, weekends and stuff. He kind of left it alone, but he still kept collecting music. Okay. So, you know, I was always hearing stuff on Sunday mornings with him and my mom. He was always playing these old records. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? But, you know, it kind of helped me out a lot because I knew what was good and what was bad.
So, sonically, that's why you have that ear, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, being so influenced and growing up, can you say that you really fell in love with it? Like, do you know, like, around what age, what song you might have heard that changed your perspective?
Oh, it was so funny. It was probably like, it was so many different records. Probably Wu-Tang when they came around with.
Wow.
Yeah, they Wu-Tang. This is gonna be real funny. The first like tape that I got, y'all are really gonna laugh, was fucking Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer. When I was a jit, I was just like, yo, you couldn't tell me them two albums were the greatest albums ever. But really, when I got a little bit older, it was like, you know, that whole Wu-Tang, you know, 94 to 90, whatever, you know, like that shit just took it to another level. Then I started like fucking with The Source and, you know, different John Blaze, I think it's Blaze magazine back then. It was some rap pages, Murder Dog, all those little magazines. I just started like just falling in love with music, rap music per se, and just, I was a little different because I kind of, me being from Georgia, I was exposed to like Outkast early on, like the Kilos, right. all the booty shake, Jermaine Dupri, like the Bragg, Crisscross, all that shit. You know, fucking Camp over on the west side. A lot of niggas don't really know about them. They were part of that shit. You know, all that shit just was all in one. And then I was listening to, like, a lot of my peers were listening to, like, you know, South and West Coast music, while I was listening to South and East Coast music.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's where it comes.
Okay. And who would you say is maybe your favorite artist, song, album, producer, DJ, any of that element, somebody that really influenced you coming up, where you could say, you know, I'll always check out their music, or I've never been let down by this artist. This is somebody that I seek to know. When they drop, I'm getting it.
Well, from a rap perspective, probably Nas at first. Producer-wise, DJ Premier. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to buy every album he produced on. I didn't care if it was the most obscure shit. I would buy it just because he produced the record on it. Okay. But that was just, you know, my infatuation with that sound. So, you know, at the time, that was everything. Nowadays, I'm not really a big fan of a lot of music that's out, but, you know, I really don't listen to a lot of new. I check it out because that's what I have to do because of my job, but a lot of stuff don't move me.
Okay. And what elements do you think matters or that you think is really, you know, useful or needed from an artist or producer to make them great? What do you listen to? What do you think, like, that person got it because of this particular element?
It's all about really your work ethic and what kind of person you are. Like, if you have to, like, eat, sleep, breathe this shit, you gotta be kind of a student of the game. Know who came before you. You know, you don't have to, like, dick ride them, but you just pay homage and shit like that. But you gotta work, cause man, I've seen so many artists fall by the wayside in my whole little career where I'm like, they got the wave, but they didn't realize it. And then you know you have certain people that were taken from his track, like Bankroll. That, like, I worked with that kid from the beginning, so I know he had the it factor too. And whether he sold a whole lot of records was a whole nother story, but he had the factor to make him, you know, potentially maybe become a superstar. But, you know, he was taken from us, and, you know, it still hurts me to this day. Me and D Rich, you know, that's one of Jeezy produced. He was Bankroll's producer. He produced, you know, and me and him talk about ball. We call him Ball. Like every time, every day almost when we're in the studio, we talk about, man, Ball was out here. You know, this shit would be a whole lot different. Some of the young artists that's coming, you know, people feel like they that nigga, it would have been him.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. And you first got your foot in the game through an internship with Grand Hustle.
Yeah, correct.
So, what was that like? Like, when you got the call and they really said, we want you to show up Monday, Tuesday, 2 o'clock, we need you here. Like, what was that feeling like?
Well, the story about this is a funny story because they had Industries 3 out, and I made one of my mixtapes based, but it was like a best of them. I took, because I used to do a lot of my own covers, I took the Industries cover just with their picture and did my own lettering and all that, and I sent it to them, and I sent them a letter or whatever. And like, I remember Big C, shout out to Big C from Grand Hustle. He was like, they was like ready to cover their BBL because they thought I was bootleg. But then T.I.'s manager, Jason Jeter, shout out to Jason, was like, nah, if he doing this for us, we need to go ahead and put him down. And then I was going into my senior year at A&T, so I needed to an internship, so it worked out perfectly. So I got credit for doing the shit, and then I got a lot of valuable experience as well.
And what was your role there initially when you got there?
I was just really like for that area, I was just like, because they really hadn't had anybody, even the label Atlantic wasn't really working them. They didn't have anybody really just helping them out in those, the mid-Atlantic market. So they would send me a bunch of like promo stuff. I would go make sure it's everywhere. They had the little yellow tape stuff. I had that everywhere. They had the little rubber bands. They had everything. I got to give people like free mixtapes, but you know me, ain't nothing free with me all the time because they got hot. So I would wholesale them out to the motherfucking stores and shit, make my money on it. So that was really what my job was. And then like when he had the beef with Lil Flip, because that was after I graduated, the Welcome Back freestyle that he did, because I was the one that was keeping them abreast of what was going on, because Lil Flip was. He was over in London. He was talking crazy on Tim Westwood. He was dissing them and stuff. See, they would have never knew without the internet. And I was just like, always on listening to this shit and all that. And I, got wind. I told him, he's like, yo, I need to Welcome Back instrumental. Man, I made a couple calls, got it. He did it, dissed them. Then we did that whole Down with the King shit. I gave him a lot of the instrumentals for it.
Okay. Oh, well, I didn't know that you was behind the scenes getting the file did like that, folks.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it went down.
So while you were there, what lessons or advice do you feel like, since that was early and I'm sure pivotal in your career, being as though it was the beginning, what do you feel, what advice or lessons did you walk away with?
This shit's a business. Like, it's nothing personal. I think I came into that situation because I didn't have any experience. I was a little green, so I had expectations, a lot more expectations than I probably should have. I assumed a lot of different things, and then I ended up parting ways with them, and it was probably the best thing for my career.
Yeah, because while you were there, that's when you met and built a rapport with Jeezy, right?
Yeah, correct. Well, the situation with Jeezy, my old manager Quest, he was Coach K and Kinky B's assistant. Okay. So like I got to, when he recorded the intro for 103, that was my 101. That was my first day in the studio. Like actually being, I had met him outside Patrick, but being in the studio with him, that was the first time I ever was in the studio with him. Okay. And so what was that like? Your initial meeting and building that relationship and that friendship, like how was that? Well, when I met him outside Patchwork, I gave him a CD or whatever, because I was still working with T.I. and them, and he was like, yeah, Coach been telling me about you and shit, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, you been putting my shit on a couple of your tapes and shit. I appreciate it 100%. So, that kind of just led it to build. And then I knew him from a couple of my people in the street, so it was something different, we had a different rapport anyway. Okay.
Well, I want to say congratulations currently on you all's successes on Trap or Die 3.
Yeah,
like it's already been certified as one of his #1 albums, correct? Yeah. Did you think that it would be so successful so fast with the inconsistency of the music industry?
I knew we had a shot. I mean, Meek kind of came out of nowhere and kind of like it would make it a little tricky. We didn't know who was going to be #1, but I knew we were going to be strong because the feedback on a lot of the records that we had put out. I think the label would have let them know a little bit better, I think it would have did a little bit better. But it is what it is. They wanted all there. We gave them, let them know, and then we gave them all there and then they kind of went with it. But I knew it was gonna be a #1 album.
And you had a personal hand and let them know and never settled?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, and so how did what was your actual role for those 2 tracks?
Well, it's a funny story because Let Them Know, actually the beat, I had sent it to the guy that Jeezy had handling Church in These Streets. Okay. I sent the beat, but I don't think he ever heard it. Okay. And so, the first thing, when he called me in January of 16, I was like, all right, cool. So the first beat I sent him was that. First 2 emails had that. And never settled it, believe it or not. Okay. Which is the funniest shit in the world. I looked back in the email the other day, I told him that, he said, for real? I'm like, yeah.
So those particular beats could have been on Church in the Street?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that's something we wouldn't have known. Yeah.